Hello, pumpkins. Content warning, I am going to be discussing ED, and when I talk about ED, I am referring to psychological issues to deal with food. I am not talking about when men have difficulty with arousal. I did a reading about a week ago on Eugenia Cooney, and the audio was terrible. No one could hear what I was saying. So I decided that I'm going to redo the reading, or at least recap it. I found the same cards in the same order so that I can tell you what I said in the last reading and you can hear me this time. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I am doing a bit of a reboot of this channel and focusing a lot more on the things that I love, which is tarot, which is magic, chaos magic, druidry, social issues, things that are on my head. I wanted to say noggin because I've been watching way too much Bailey Sarian lately. I will be doing a lot of celebrity tarot and YouTube influencer tarot, so if you're new to my channel, please do subscribe. We would love to have you here. Okay, apparently if I say the name, I get demonetized, so I'm going to refer to her as Eugenia C, and hopefully that will still come up in the algorithm. If this does get monetized and it makes more than $5, I will be donating it to a local charity that helps people with ED and ED research. I haven't found one yet in my city. I know of one in my last city, so if I can't find one locally, I'll donate to that one. But yeah, I'm not looking to make money off of someone having this, terrible illness. Okay, so the cards that I drew for Eugenia C are the Star, the Three of Swords, the Two of Wands reversed, and the Hierophant. So what I'm looking at here, and as I said in the last reading, I'll try to remember things that I said. I rewatched it. Hopefully I can remember things, or if anything new comes to me with intuition, then I will let you know. So the Star does tend to indicate hope. But the rest of the cards tend to indicate other issues. So we have, with the Three of Swords, this is often indicative of some heart issues. So I think that Eugenia may have done some permanent damage to her heart, and this is quite concerning. I think that things are looking at getting worse before they get better, but that she would be essentially committed 5150'd or sent on some sort of emergency care to the hospital in the near future. Whether she collapses, whether something goes terribly wrong, I think that she is looking at things getting worse before they get better. And things already are pretty bad. I do have a degree in psychology with a focus in neuroscience. So I have studied ED a little bit, although most of my research was done with seniors and language. AN has the highest mortality rate of any psychological disorder. It has a mortality rate of about 25% mortality rate. So this is a dangerous situation. Now, I have been open that I myself have an ED. I have BED, which is where one overconsumes. So I am sensitive to ED. However, I also am very aware that the health issues related to AN are very different than the issues related to BED. So I am quite concerned with Eugenia. Yes, my ring light just went out. Hopefully my audio didn't go out too. Knock on forward finish. I can't knock loudly because the dog thinks that there's somebody at the door when I do. Okay. So yes, I think that there is some hope right now of her getting some treatment. But it's going to get worse before it gets better. So of her being admitted for some sort of emergency procedure going on, and then her having a period of somewhat recovery. Now, people with ED tend to never fully recover, even if they're able to mostly recover. They tend to not gain significant weight, and they tend to still struggle with thoughts about their ED. There's research to suggest that AN should be classified as a body dysmorphic disorder rather than an ED because So a body dysmorphic disorder, sometimes you can't even tell what the person's issue is. They can look normal, and they, in their mind, blow up the issue that they're having about their body and think that it's something that's horrifically terrible. It's more than just being self-conscious, and often they go to great lengths of plastic surgery to fix the thing that they believe is wrong with them, and can sometimes do significant damage. So it's believed that Michael Jackson may have had body dysmorphic disorder around his nose, and that's why there were so many repeated plastic surgeries to take him from a normal African-American man's nose to not having a nose. And no matter how small his nose got, in his mind, it was probably still huge. And so with someone with AN, no matter how skinny they get, they're unable to see that they are thin and that they are dangerously thin, and that instead they are obese in their mind, because they just can't wrap that notion around. So as long as they still, exist, they are looking at having, issues that they think that they're too big. Eugenia has a very childlike persona, and she comes across as being very naive. Now, she's an adult woman. She's 26. But she's still coming across as being like 12. So it feels like they're looking at this, that there was some trauma that happened around age 11 or 12, and she just kind of got stuck there. I think that her mother was aware or in denial of the trauma that happened, and now feels like she has to overprotect Eugenia. I know that there are issues with her mother refusing to allow Eugenia to get some help, and I think that's where the two of wands reverse comes in, of being stuck between a rock and a hard place. So I think that Eugenia, in a way, knows deep down that things are not going well with her health, but is desperately afraid of hurting her mother and killing her mother if she goes into treatment, which is something that her mother has threatened. So there's this rock and a hard place, push-pull. Should Eugenia go into treatment, her mother will be just fine, and her mother is not going to have a heart attack because Eugenia survives. So there's this wish almost to have her daughter remain childlike and not develop a woman's body. Now, all bodies are good bodies, not trying to shame, but normally around 10, 11, 12 is when puberty starts to happen, and women start to develop breasts and develop hips and develop a bum. And some people are naturally thin, and that's fine, and I'm not trying to shame anyone who doesn't develop these characteristics, but there's, in remaining very thin, there's also this idea of remaining childlike and not having signs of being an adult woman, which is very scary, because she's 26 and is still in many ways a preteen cognitively. So we have the Hierophant here, and I think the Hierophant often relates to religion and to traditions and like old institutions. So when I say religion, I'm not talking about like newer religions. I'm talking about like, the institution of the old Catholic Church, or the institution of education, like, the old Ivy League schools or things like that. But I think that this is representing like the Church of AN and the community that's around AN and the fetishization of AN, and how many of her subscribers, although many are quite worried, there are those who are themselves struggling with AN who look at Eugenia as an idol, and they're trying to emulate her and her extreme thinness. And then there are those who tell her how good she looks and how sexy she looks, being as tiny as she is. So I think that kind of institution of kind of the Church of AN is in many ways making the situation worse and propelling the situation worse. So in her rock and a hard place, it's a matter of her choosing life or choosing the path that she's going down, which is the path that her mother and her supporters are reinforcing. So I am very concerned for her. I do want her to get help. Looking at this and the damage that she's done to her heart, I don't think that there's going to be long-term, that she's going to live to be a ripe old age of 102. I think that the damage that she's done is going to take her early, but I do think that there's going to be some hope of recovery with her being able to get some help after being forced to get help. So looking like she has some sort of medical emergency, is rushed to hospital, and spends some time there, spends some time away from her mother, away from the internet, and is able to kind of see what's going on. Whether she re-engages with her mom and with her subscribers after that is another story. Now, being the fact that she is 26 and has the maturity level of a preteen, what other work experience does she have other than being a social influencer on YouTube? So there's a real concern about how she's going to support herself. So I would like to see her be able to become an example for those who are struggling with ED, and become an example of someone who can have some recovery and have some longer term health. But this is a very serious situation. Now, I have never given someone a death sentence in all the years I've been reading tarot. I really try to focus on someone's potential and someone's choices, and empowering my clients. So I don't want to say, like, yeah, this is going to kill her. I want to see the hope in here, and I think that that is her choice. I believe that we are always in control of our destiny, and this is a snapshot of where things are going, kind of on the decisions that she's made. So right now I think that she is looking at getting worse before she gets better, of having some sort of medical emergency, and then of getting some help while she has her medical emergency, and then her having the choice of re-engaging with that behavior, or of this taking her. But like I say, with the Three of Swords here, I do think that she's done some permanent damage to her heart. And of course, I wish her the best. I'm going to leave some resources below if you are personally struggling with ED, and perhaps you can reach out and get some help, because I want to see you do well and have a long, healthy life. If you would like to book a reading for yourself, you can do so. The link is below, www.carolineIronwill.com. Just click on book a reading and enter your information, and you can choose whatever time works for you. I am having surgery on the next Tuesday, June 1st. So I will be out of commission from the 1st until the 4th, and starting up readings again on the 5th. So you have 2 days to book before my surgery, because I usually take Sundays and Mondays off. Okay, have a great day, pumpkins. Please subscribe if you are new here. Hopefully the audio was better on this one. Have a great day, and I will talk to you later. Bye, pumpkins.